Alright, what's going on, guys? Right back again here to bring you another video. Wanted to do a video just kind of giving my thoughts on the Walking Dead video game. If you guys have been following me for a little while, I did a video before the video game came out, a couple months back before episode 1 of the video game came out. And I pretty much said that I thought it was going to be a money grab and basically that it's probably going to suck and all that kind of stuff. And that Telltale hasn't really done too many great video games, up to this point. And pretty much I've been kind of proven wrong 100%. I thought the game was just going to be like, so-so or okay type thing, but it actually looks like it is really good. Now, I have played the first episode and seen gameplay of the second episode, and I have to say that I think overall it's really, really well done. And overall, I think it's probably a good purchase for the price. I mean, it's $25 for computer, $20 I think for Xbox, and I'm not sure for PlayStation, probably around that, probably 20, 25. And you get 5 episodes, so equivalent of about 10 hours of gameplay roughly, because each episode is roughly about 2 hours. Now, episode 2, Star for Help, just came out like last week type thing. So I still have to play it all the way through. I haven't played it all the way through yet, but I've watched quite a few gameplay clips of it and that kind of stuff. Because you can actually, if you guys are just interested in hearing the story of it, if you're not too big into video games and that kind of stuff, you can actually watch it all on YouTube. People will actually just record essentially the game and post it in their channels, which is so if you want to watch it, you can just go ahead and watch it and kind of experience the story that way. I think that the main character Lee has a very interesting story. I think his take on how it all starts with him in the police car and all that stuff and being arrested, I think is an interesting take on. I think Clementine sort of gives him that sense of it feels like sort of like a surrogate father to have to protect her and that kind of stuff and everything that's going on with that. I also like the fact that they're staying true to the whole environment of the graphic novels and everything, and in that world, and a lot of the realistic elements are coming into play. Like, okay, we've been able to survive till this time. We've been able to meet up with a group, and we've got a decent place to stay that's fairly, protected. And now we're out of food. We're basically like running out of food. So what are we going to do? So obviously we have to leave, and we have to go find food. And then, of course, in that process, we end up running into people that are seem to be very nice, seem to be great, and then turn out to be freaking like evil like crazy, and or try to do things to us or try to whatever. So overall, I think that anytime that you got Robert Kirkman involved with a story like that in a zombie apocalypse, it just works. Whether or not it's with Rick or even if it's with another character, I think that I've talked about this before. You don't necessarily have to have Rick in there to have a Walking Dead story. You don't really have to do it. Glenn, of course, does make an appearance in the video game, and so that's cool to see him in there too. But I mean, if the story is written well and it's compelling, it's interesting, it's exciting, and it's in that type of world and realistic, you don't have to have Rick in there. It doesn't absolutely have to be a necessity. And also, one thing Robert Kirkman has said in interviews and stuff is that he doesn't want anything he does with The Walking Dead to be exactly the same. So if he does the television series, it's not going to be exactly the same as the graphic novel. The graphic novel is not going to be exactly the same as the video game. So everything is going to sort of be its own interpretation, so to speak, of its own style of storytelling. And no two are going to be exactly the same, because I think he's right when he says that it would just be boring. On the flip side, though, if they would have had a video game where you actually just play Rick, and just do the same things in the television series, I think it'd be okay if it was like a first-person style game. But in terms of if you actually want to tell a story, then and you're going to go with Telltale, then you wouldn't want to do the exact same story, because again, that would be boring. Because I think so much of the video game is story oriented. It's almost like just an interactive comic book, really. I mean, when you experience a video game, you play it and that kind of stuff. It really just seems a lot like an interactive, video game that's really more closer to a comic book or watching something, because so much of it is it's so story based, story intensive, and story based that I think the story is really good and very intriguing, and right on par with, I don't want to say the television series or really the comic book, but it's a good interpretation of The Walking Dead, and it is still interesting. Definitely something to tide us over until the season 3 comes out and all that kind of stuff. So I am going to play episode 2, go through it and see how it is, but I do have to say, I'm a man. I can admit when I'm wrong, and I was definitely wrong. The Walking Dead video game is awesome. I'm going to give it, so far from what I've played, a 7 out of 10. I think it's very good. Maybe 7.5. 8? Yeah, 7.5. Because, you know, it is very, very story oriented, and almost kind of feels like less like a video game and more like a comic book or something like that. Only that you can interact with certain elements and make decisions and this kind of stuff. I think it'd be still cool to see like a Left 4 Dead style Walking Dead video game where you get like, you know, first person shooter and all that kind of stuff, and still have the story elements, but you know, just more that type of game rather than like a story based game. But either way, I think it's very cool. It's a very good game. If you guys haven't checked it out, please check it out if you'd like. Again, if you don't want to buy it or whatever, you can just watch the gameplay online just to experience the story, because it's really all about the story in this video game, and that's that. So those are my thoughts on the video game so far, guys. If you play the game, let me know what you think right in the comments. We'll talk about it. And how do you think the story of the video game compares to the television series and the graphic novel? Do you like it as much? Me personally, I don't like it quite as much, but I still think it's very interesting. That's it for this video, guys. See you for the next one later. Peace.